Mahalo to the following sponsor, mandalahomes.net, creating exotic, handcrafted eco-homes made in pre-built kits in their own factory in Bali. mandalahomes.net. Welcome to Life on Maui. My name is Stephen Freid. We have a wonderful guest tonight, DreamingBear Baraka Kanaan, who has been a guest on the show a couple of years ago, but he's in a whole new space with whole new poetry, and he is really something to listen to. So we have the privilege of interviewing him tonight. His website is Lovevolution.net. So welcome to the show, DreamingBear.
Mahalo, thank you.
What is the Lovevolution?
The Lovevolution is a movement that is happening across this planet. Incidental, I'm just a part of it. I'm not the mastermind or anything. I'm just a part of a conscious, energetic shift that's taking place. It's the new paradigm. It's the love evolution / revolution. And by revolution, I mean the non-violent sort of patient Gandhian technique of calling in our inner peace. Now, more specifically, the Lovevolution, I've taken upon myself to be sort of a vocal component of that movement. I've seen this tide of new consciousness surging across our generation and have begun cultivating a language for that by starting a nonprofit called the Lovevolution Foundation. And we base our principles upon basic things that I think the Lovevolution itself is actually about. Things like education through entertainment, or what I call edutainment, a sense of just having fun while we're learning, for God's sake. It's time to
So your poetry is a perfect example of that.
Exactly.
That's how you see that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we bridge that along with some earth-centered eco-environmental awareness, bringing people into a state where they can be off the grid, be aware of what it's like to live from the Aina, from the land itself. And we take that to another level by integrating spiritual truths with scientific truths. You know, the old paradigm was one or the other, but I believe that the truth is somewhere between us. It's that perennial thread. So the Lovevolution is dedicated to just taking the best parts of all without being political or religious or in any way, shape, or form exclusive. It's really more than anything, though. It's about a grassroots return to a way of being in the world, a way of expressing in the world, a way of fulfilling our potential and rising to meet what I believe are the cataclysmic challenges that we're facing as a generation.
So do you have a message for our generation, and also how would you define our generation from a year old to 100 years? What's your message for this generation?
Well, this generation for me would be everyone that's alive right now that had been born at any point, even those who are still in their golden years, as we call them. They are this generation nonetheless. And I believe that I do have a message for this generation, and it's very simple. It's just that authenticity is the new enlightenment. That it's not some spiritual impossibility. It's not you trying to be something that you're not. It's not being this perfect emulation of a dead saint. That's not how we get to this place where we feel liberated and free. My message would be, if you want to fulfill your potential, if you want to rise into knowing who and what you are, just start to look beyond all the preconceived, all the pre-programmed ideas of what you've been told. At this point, what we need is something unprecedented, something new, something totally new under the sun. You know, Ecclesiastes said there's nothing new under the sun. Well, that's no longer true. There is now, and then it's us. We are that something new under the sun because we face the greatest challenges any generation has ever faced. Whilst on the precipice of our greatest intellectual and spiritual advancements and achievements, our greatest potential technological advancements, we also face our greatest disasters. And I think my message would be that we have to return to nature. Authenticity for me is what's real, and what's real for me is nature.
Well, what does that mean in reality to people? I mean, here, we have cities, we have, you know how people live. So what does that mean, return to nature? I mean, I know that at one point you really were in nature, but what does that mean for most people?
Well, as you said, we have generations who've never seen a forest, generations who've never swam in a crystal clear river, generations who've never drank from a stream themselves, who wouldn't know. You could take the toughest guy in the city and you put him in the woods at night, whether there's an animal there or not, that tough guy is no longer tough, because most people, even this concept of manhood has been misconstrued. People think that because they live in cities that they're safe and they're protected, but in actuality, returning to nature, not that the cities aren't, they're composed of nature. We take what is natural and we artificialize it. So returning to nature is going to a place, even if you're in a place where you can't see the stars, but to go to a place where you can just be in tune with the grass, be in tune with the sky, be in harmony with that etheric quality, you know, and find a way to get to where there are constellations that still shine. Find a way to get to that place where when you breathe in deeply, you don't cough because of the carbon dioxide. Find a way to re-tap in, even if it's just touching a tree, anything to reassociate yourself with that inherent, wild, unadulterated passion that you have, because in a way what we've lost in our neglect of nature is we've lost that sense of enthusiasm and exuberance and rediscovery, that stuff that doesn't come with a television, although I'm grateful that people are watching us now. Yeah. The stuff that comes from the television that was once the sky, that comes from the bedtime story that was once a drum and a fire and people dancing rhythmically to the patterns and the beats of new consciousness, because I believe that that's what we're here to do. And in returning to nature, ultimately I believe it's returning to that place within ourselves that is harmonious and free of hang-ups, free of egoic identifications, free of, well, I'm this and I'm that, because if you look at nature as an example, a star in a constellation never says to another star, don't you think you're shining too bright? Don't you think you need to dim your light so that I can shine brighter? Stars don't do that. All that stars do, they go, come on, baby, let's open our arms of light so wide that we fill the whole sky with something beautiful. And I think that that's where we're headed as a generation.
Yeah. And your name's Dreaming Bear. Why is dreaming so important to the planet at this time? I know that's really a big deal for you, dreaming.
Extremely.
So what is that? What first of all, what do you mean dreaming? And why is it so important?
Thank you for asking that question. You know, we on average, the average human being dreams about six years of their life. On average, we dream for about 6 years. And on average, we've forgotten most of it. People go into a 6-year catatonic amnesiatic state, and every night they go into amnesiatic state, and every morning they wake up and they think nothing about it. But if someone to say to you, hey, there's 6 years of your life that you don't remember, and by the way, those were 6 of the most adventurous years of your life in which you explored other universes, you walked barefoot on the sun, you flew over the moon with Buddha and Jesus, and by the way, at the same time, you are the source of creation, you know, and you go, oh my God, I missed all that. So that's what dreams are. I believe that dreams are an interdimensional doorway through which our soul becomes the nexus point for experiencing every possible version of reality. And why are they so important? Because we've lost our inherent connection. We used to have great thinkers. We used to have great doers, great becomers, Einsteins, you know, Michelangelos, great beings. Our heroes used to not be actors, pretend heroes. They used to be real people who really made advancements in the world that helped society. But nowadays, we're sufficed to look to Hollywood for our heroes. But what we're in for now is just this beautiful reemergence of becoming the hero of our own story, of really coming to that place where we ourselves rise to the occasion. And we say to ourselves, no more fitting in, no more having to care what people think or say about me. Now is the time for us to, as a generation, take our destiny by its reins, as it were, and bareback ride it across the sky and just have fun with our lives. Get back to a sense of playfulness again.